The New York lockdown returns, and Governor Cuomo makes a bold anti-Semitic statement because the people of New York are some of the most vile, insane, racist anti-Semites I've ever actually read about. Don't take my word for it. I'll show you this tweet. Governor Andrew Cuomo, quote, "I have to say to the Orthodox community tomorrow, if you're not willing to live with these rules, then I'm going to close the synagogues." Huh. Did you address any other group of people like that? Oh, I'm sorry. New York is the place where they were welding parks shut. Actually, no. I'm sorry. They were chaining them shut. And then the Jewish community was going and breaking the chains. You see, New York has done everything in its power to make the Jewish community suffer. There was a string of incidents where people were running up and attacking Orthodox Jews, beating them in the streets. Where was the outcry? Where were the protests? Where was support from the city? Nowhere to be found. COVID happens. What does he do? Allows the protests. De Blasio allows the protests, and then they go to the Jewish community, shut down their synagogues, and chain their parks shut. I wonder, when you see the Black Lives Matter people espouse Farrakhan quotes, supporting him, and then you see what these people in government do, supporting Black Lives Matter, spray painting the name, and then targeting the Jewish community. I have to wonder. Governor Cuomo orders hundreds of schools in 9 NYC neighborhoods to close from tomorrow and also threatens to shut down religious institutions if they fail to social distance. The schools, both public and private, will be required to close from Tuesday onwards in the Brooklyn and Queens neighborhoods, where COVID-19 positivity rates have been surging. Cuomo could not immediately confirm exactly how many schools will have to close and for how long. It is believed about 100 public schools and 200 private schools are located within the zip codes. The number of new COVID cases has been rising in pockets of the city, predominantly in the neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Queens that are home to the city's large Orthodox Jewish population. Those areas represent 7% of the city's population and have been responsible for more than 20% of all new infections over the past 4 weeks. Many religious schools in these neighborhoods resumed in-person classes in early September. Be it not their choice, if they would like to be open and have their kids learn, why should the government be intervening in such a manner? You know, it's already been ruled in several different instances that these lockdowns are unconstitutional. And that's where I probably fall. If the Jewish community is seeing these large infection rates, then I don't think Cuomo, especially considering I should say, with the other rulings from other states, it's time to shut up. It's time to recognize you can't control this. And he's only making it worse. That's the reality. You've got a natural disaster here with this virus. And the best thing we can do is mitigate, not shut everything down. Protect the nursing homes, protect the vulnerable, and social distance and wear masks. That's the best you can do. You see, what Cuomo's done with the iron fist has not worked. The Jewish community is just going about their business, and they're being targeted and harassed by Cuomo, and it's only breeding more animosity and more anger. Perhaps the best thing you could do is negotiate. Tell you what, why don't you guys do your thing, but here are some precautions you could take to mitigate the spread. Instead, he's like, I'm going to shut down your religious institutions, and we're going to allow Black Lives Matter to march through the street for 130 days. Do something. That's what's being said. That's the message. So I'll tell you what, you want me to care that people are going to church? Why? You supported the protests. So no, I won't care. Many religious schools in these neighborhoods resumed. Cuomo also threatened to shut down temples and churches in those neighborhoods following super spreader mass gatherings that he said have been going on for weeks. Dude, it has been since March 15th or whatever. I don't think you can win. How about you realize you've screwed everything up? You've destroyed the city. 12,000 bars expected to remain closed permanently. People fleeing the city. Talk about a failure. And then what did he do with his brother on CNN? Oh, we got big Q-tips. That's so funny. As you were putting people in nursing homes that were sick with COVID and killing the elderly. And then this guy has the nerve to do an interview where he's like, that never happened. That never happened. I never killed all these people. Yeah, you did. I'm sick of this, man. New York, you need an overhaul. These people need to be removed from power. Bring in somebody else. I don't care what their political party is. Get a libertarian, get a Republican, Democrat, Green Party, whatever. Just get rid of these people. He said he was meeting directly with Orthodox leaders on Tuesday to seek their help with getting people to comply with the rules. Cuomo said if the religious leaders don't agree to enforce social distancing rules, including mask wearing, he will shut them down. He specifically referenced recent mass gatherings involving members of Orthodox Jewish communities that he said numbered in the thousands. We know mass gatherings are the super spreader events. We know there have been mass gatherings going on in these communities for weeks. Mr. Cuomo, can I introduce you to something that your brother also didn't know about? It's called the First Amendment. And in it says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion and, infringing upon free speech and assembly and blah, blah, blah. You get the point. Not to disrespect the First Amendment. I think it's fantastic. But people have a right to gather for any reason. They have a right to speak and they have a right to worship. You can't just come in and think you have the right to shut them down. Now, I got to be honest. I don't think that Cuomo is shutting this stuff down because he's concerned about super spreader events. I really do believe that he's just an overt anti-Semite. I mean it. I know it's a bit cliche for like the "you're racist," crowd, and that's all they ever say. But come on, think about it, man. The amount of chaos in this city, the amount of violence and murders, and Cuomo is like, "Oh, but those synagogues, gotta shut those ones down." Is that what you're really worried about? The fact that you had Orthodox Jews being attacked in the street in these knockout games specifically, I mean, these videos are horrifying. And they didn't do anything about it. They didn't care. I think they like it. I think these people are anti-Semites. And that's been, these clusters have to be attacked. Stamp them out immediately and dramatically. Let me tell you about that quote. We know mass gatherings are the super spreader events at these specific communities. These clusters have to be attacked. Stamp them out. Bro, you should really use your choice of word. You should really choose your words better. Look, I think it's absurd to read too much into this. I think we know what he means, shut down the events. But I tell you, man, I have to wonder when they're when they're chaining parks closed and they've been specifically targeting the Jewish community the entire time. To say something like this, bold. Cuomo said he has spoken to NYC Mayor Bill de Blasio earlier on Monday, and that the state would be taking over enforcement in cities' hotspot zip codes. De Blasio had on Sunday asked Cuomo to close schools and non-essential businesses after test positivity rates rose above 3% in those areas for 7 days straight. I want to show you something. Take a look at this. Borough Park, 8%. Then we have, Edgemere, Far Rockaway, 5.6%. We can see where, I guess the positive tests are popping up. And it doesn't look like it's only just the Jewish community. And that's really what I'm getting at here. Come on, man. What are you really trying to say, de Blasio? Bill de Blasio is one of these progressive far leftists. You may not be aware, but many of these people who organize these far left, Linda Sarsour and Tamika Mallory and these others, very, very pro-Farrakhan. Farrakhan, of course, has said extremely disparaging things about the Jewish community. I don't know if you guys saw the story, but Prince Harry said that he believed the world was created by white people, according to Harry, and that it was created by them. And then he goes on to say, for them. Yeah, I kid you not. He said that the world was created for and by, according to Harry, white people. This is the kind of white supremacist psychotic ideology we see from the identitarian left. And when you take into consideration what he said, and then you take a look at what, say, Bill de Blasio is doing, because de Blasio is one of these progressive far leftists, you have to wonder what their goal is when they then start targeting the Jewish community and overlook the violence that's beset upon them. I think it's fair to say when the left screams about neo-Nazis and fascism, what they're doing is they're masking their own behaviors and activities. Projection. When they claimed Trump was working with Russia, it was actually Democrats. Yeah, that dossier that smeared Trump, actually some of the information came from someone suspected of being, a national security threat. And Hunter Biden has accepted money from Russians in Moscow. And they project all of that on their opponents so that they get regular people to fight against the actual good guys. Right. So, look, typically people think anti-Semitism is wrong and racism is wrong and Russian collusion is wrong. So by accusing Trump and the other side of doing it, they can do it all day and night and they get away with it. And you can see how it negatively impacts cities like New York. And Cuomo will not face a real challenge. People are going to show up and they're going to check the D box. And I'm just sick and tired of it, man. I'm just sick and tired of the lies. I just want someone to be honest for once, you know? But they know that if they're honest about what they really think in terms of identitarianism and anti-Semitism, well, it'll hurt them because regular people don't like those things. So they accuse everyone else of being hateful. Nah. Whatever, man. I'll leave it there. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes. I'll see you all shortly.